for the invitation and for allowing me to get on the stage in front of extremely esteemed speakers, far more knowledgeable, far more technical and far more experienced than me. So of course, I am humbled already. I would be speaking on something that's not technical. That's how you beat the curve, right? You get on something on an entirely different ship and you can't have anyone to compare yourselves to. Anyways, so I'll just take about 15 minutes of your time, so I want your attention since it's something that's not going to be in the books, it's something that you learn through experiences. And have you ever met someone only for once or twice, but they've lived and they've stayed with you forever? Ever had that feeling? And it's not because of something that they did, but because of how they made you feel, right? So a patient, I once treated a patient who was extremely nervous, extremely embarrassed and extremely scared about a smile, and then she was constantly apologizing, I'm so sorry, I'm so scared, I'm so sorry, I'm this, I'm so sorry, it's so dirty, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. I'm like, first of all, just relax. You're here, that's step one. Step two, we'll take it in stages. If you want me to stop, just raise your hand. The same thing that we do in everything. Once we fixed her smile, I just told her, what do you think I told her? They looks great, blah blah blah, it's as healthy. No, you have to be a psychologist as well. I told her, you look happy now. That's it, done deal. She left. A few weeks, months later, she texted me, you're saying that statement to me that I look happy gave me belief that I can smile now, because you're in charge of fixing smiles. You see bad smiles every day. And then I was thinking to myself, if that person is telling me that I look happy, even if I don't, that means something. So that really, since I am a really deep thinker, it's a curse and it's also a blessing, that stuck with me. That stitched something permanently in my brain. And that small moment, probably 10 seconds or 20 seconds of cumulative me telling her that you look nice and you look happy, changed her life forever. That small moment, right? What happens is that there's a myth of us chasing milestones. I'm all for it, by the way. If it's like Dr. Zafar Zaidi, I'm all for it 3 times over. But what happens is that we're taught to have grades, we're taught to have titles, we're taught to have wedding and then a house and then a kid, milestones. What the problem is that milestones, and the truth is that these are just punctuation marks in your life. Your life and most of what you will become or have become is in the in-betweens, the unnoticed hours of hard work and despair and hope and everything that you don't see or post on any social media. You only post it when there's an event, right? So let's talk. And you know what happens is that neuroscience calls these small moments micro moments, and it supports that. Neuroscience says that repetition literally rewires brain, right? When you do something for the first time or you do something again and again, your brain starts to create new neural pathways. For example, you think about negativity all the time, and that becomes your default mindset, your default lens. That's what you do every time there's a something that you have to see at. And if you think about kindness, compassion, that becomes your instinct. You don't have to think about it, because that is who you are, and you're training your brain to do that in a particular way. Every choice, every decision that you make literally rewires the map of your brain every time. So there are 3 kinds of, to simplify, threads that we don't see. Number 1 is threads of people. These are the threads that others have woven into us, right? For example, a teacher who knew your potential. We see a lot of movies that this guy is, is self-doubting, is not self-aware, but the teacher is like, go, 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 and then he gets it. So that applies in real life as well. There's a teacher who believes in your potential even when you don't. There's a parent who believes in you even if you don't. There's a text message from a friend who made you laugh at a really hard night when you didn't know what's going to be on the exam tomorrow. All these people they literally write paragraphs in your life story, even if you met them once or twice, right? And then you also forget one more thing. You are also a person in someone else's story, writing something. So maybe you will say something nice, maybe you will say or be kind, and that's the invisible thread that is holding the other person's life together and stopping him from unraveling. वो खुल गया, गांठ खुल जाती ना. Maybe that is that wire जो उसको रख रही है. Since we don't see it, we don't know. दूसरा, it's a thread of habits. So we not people, only habits. For example, what you do every day, how you live your life every day, that also becomes a thread that you are woven yourself every day. For example, if you wake up and you feel, gratitude instead of checking your phone, you feel happy instead of sad, you feel that you are, you went for a walk instead of complaining, right? So you do that every day, and that will trick your brain into doing that as a default mindset, right? Habits. The third is what? People, habits and choices. Every now and then you are faced with a choice of not doing the right and wrong, but between doing the right and the easy. So for example, there was a dentist, this was some time ago, he called up, he told me that he wants to quit dentistry. So I had all positive things to say to encourage him. So what I told him was that instead of finding magic, sometimes instead of finding magic in new things, sometimes you need to learn to love the things that you already have, and maybe there's magic there. Fast forward a few years, he called me, he's like, that's because I met you and you said that, I didn't quit dentistry and I'm like super now. He's like a really successful guy. So you don't know what you're saying and what choices you're making and how you respond to things that come your way. How you respond, what you hold back, कि सब नहीं बताना और सब नहीं बोलना. This is not the time and place if the person is not happy to be rubbing into the wound. So how you respond, what you hold back, and what you release. This defines yourself far more than success ever will. And you don't know that these threads, they will trickle through time and trickle to the individual's lives far beyond what you've forgotten. कि मैंने कभी बोला भी था, मुझे तो कुछ याद भी नहीं था कब है, but it made an impact for him. It was a turning point for him, right? So coming to the next thing, और वो ये है कि when you do these repetitions of everything, you realize that okay, we have a thread of people we need to take care of, we have a thread of habits that we need to fix, we have a thread of choices that we need to also train ourselves to do the right thing at the right time. When you keep repeating this, you realize that there's a pattern. You start seeing things from on a big scale. You zoom out. Every now and then, instead of being inside the bubble, you need to get out of your bubble and see the bigger picture, other people, other things, other zone. And then you realize there's a pattern. Every decision, choice, thought process that you do will make a strand, and then you use that strand to make something new. And these weren't something like, it could be something like saying thank you every time somebody said, you can, or offered you something to eat, or it could be some as easy as standing outside the elevator and waiting for other people to get out, or saying, I'm sorry. These things, when you do it repeatedly, they define your character, because character comes in the number of hours that nobody is seeing, right? And what happens uske baad is that you've seen the bigger picture, पीछे हुए ना आपको नजर आ रहा है, yeah, that's the bigger picture, but you only see that once you slow down. So for example, the next time, and what's the modern problem, by the way? Does anyone know what's the modern problem of today, and especially the new generation, sort of including me as well. Agreed, no time. So I will rephrase that. I know she meant what I'm about to say, is that we're looking for magic elsewhere. We're looking for magic आगे. We're looking for magic everywhere except for the place that we are in, right? उससे कभी magic मिलेगा नहीं, because you're always chasing. So you need to stop. The modern problem is that it's not that we don't have connection, it's the fact that we don't have attention. We are mindlessly scrolling through Instagram and life the same way. You scroll, when you go up, you go to the next one. Scroll up, you go to the next one. So you have a project, good, accomplished, to the next one. You have another project, to the next one. We have one thing, you keep on moving forward and you never stop. You have to create space to find the magic that you don't see. If you don't have time, you won't do that. If you won't have your brain trained to stop every few steps, take a step back and see the bigger picture. And that is where the magic will come in, because magic hasn't disappeared. Magic has always been slow in real life. Magic has always been slow on social media and movies and everything else. It's usually, that's magic. That's where we need to train our brain. Okay, magic is slow and it's invisible, and you can only see it once you look closer, when you stop, when you sit down, relax. So next time something comes your way, stop, think what you're about to say, what you're about to do, because knowingly or unknowingly, all of us are stitching someone else's fabric of life, either with hope or with despair, and also our own. Thank you.